I am Dr. Bill Thomas, and I want to begin by saying, I see you, and I feel you. I feel your curiosity and your aliveness. Just for a moment, I want to savor the pleasure of being here together in this space, the freedom to think and act and choose as we think best. I came here today to talk to you about the most beautiful, the most delicate, and the most intricate bridge ever created. It's the bridge that spans life and death. From the moment we draw our first breath until the last breath leaves our body. I trained as a physician, and I began my career as a family doctor. I did lots of obstetrics, delivered lots of babies. I won't ever forget the experience of holding a brand new baby in my hands, the cord's still attached, and looking into the face of that new human. And while I was doing this work, I began to understand that life is a process that allows us to trade away our newborn perfection in return for a story. And in my story, I left family medicine, became a geriatrician. That's a physician specializing in aging. And in that work, I got to be at the bedside of many, many people as they drew their last breath. And as with these people, I realized that they had come to a moment where their body meant nothing, and their story was everything. We are biographical creatures. Every person here in this magical place on this magical day is writing a story. And the thing is, our culture whispers in our ear all the time about this story. What is this story? The culture whispers to us little things, some of which are true and many of which are not. Our culture whispers in our ear, youth is perfect. The culture whispers, you'll be young forever. 2 centuries ago, a wise man said, pleasure may rely upon illusion, but happiness requires the truth. And as a geriatrician, I deal in the truth, the bone-hard truth of our lives. We are mortal beings, all of us rushing on to a destiny we dare not think of. And that's what makes life beautiful. I'm in a room with 400 mortal sparks, and we share and illuminate this moment. So it turns out, if the culture whispers to us of youth's perfection, in the other ear we hear, age, bad, bad. So I thought maybe I could do something for you today that might be helpful to some of you someday on your own. I'm actually going to come out to you right here on stage. I'm going to come out as an old man. I am an old man. I'm 56 years old, and when you compare me to all the humans who've ever lived, I'm really old. I am old, baby. Now, I happen to live in a moment, one precious moment, when old age is succeeding like it has never succeeded before in history. And that gives some people the wrong idea. It gives some people the idea that youth can be perpetuated somehow, against all evidence. And to those people, I would like to point out a singular fact. It's estimated that 17 billion people have lived on this earth. Among those 17 billion, not one has ever grown young. And so we cross the bridge. And so we take a step. We wake up each morning one day older than we were the day before. And the question is, what does it mean? What is the meaning of aging? And the meaning of aging is a willing surrender of youthful perfection in return for your true story. You are a story in the making. Now, because I'm a geriatrician and because I spent decades hanging out with really old people, I know a thing or two, a couple of tricks I can pass on to you. First, if you ever need good advice, ask your old self. So I'm 56, and I regularly ask my 76-year-old self, does this really matter? And my 76-year-old self goes, no, you're not even going to remember this 20 years from now. Stop obsessing about it. It turns out my 20-year-older self has a lot more experience and knowledge and insight, and I consult my 20-year-older self. And hopefully when I'm 76, I'll consult my 96-year-old self, and I'll learn. Second thing, the illusion of immortality robs us of joy. Now, young people especially live with the illusion of immortality. They're almost incapable of imagining their lives coming to an end. The older we get, the better we are at piercing that illusion. And as we said before, happiness requires the truth. And in fact, it's measurably true that people who understand, embody, and accept the fact that they're mortal beings are happier than people who live with the illusion of immortality. In fact, research shows that the happiest decade of human life is the 70s. The unhappiest decade of human life, the 40s. Yeah, I'm speaking statistically here. The unhappiest year, 47. So, if you're younger than 47, I'm really sorry. If you're older than 47, man, it gets better and better and better. So a word or two about design. When I think about design in this beautiful bridge, when I think about designing that bridge, I think about three things: culture, technology, and person. And by person, I really mean the personal story. Who are you? The culture. We live in and are immersed within a bitterly ageist culture. If people spoke of race and gender the way they speak of age, they would be expelled from polite society. Ageism is really the only major form of bigotry that is spoken aloud in polite company. We can change that story. We can eradicate ageism, and it starts in the mirror. The best way to begin attacking ageism is to look at your own face in the mirror and to admire it just exactly the way it is. If you're 35 or 55 or 85, it doesn't matter. You have the face that is perfectly suited to you at this age. And if you can accept your face, you can begin to accept yourself. And if you can accept yourself, you can begin to accept others as being their own age. Number two, technology. I would like to share with you incredible technology developed in the 13th century in Italy. This technology revolutionized Western civilization. Can I tell you how and why? Human beings normally develop something called presbyopia, which is age-related changes in vision. In a world without these, people who acquire a couple of decades of experience in really fine, detailed work can't do it anymore when they reach their 40s or 50s. And so this came along and created an extraordinary technological bonus that we still feel today. You want to read a book? You want to knit a sweater? You want to design a microcircuit? Yeah, baby! I got it. So all my accumulated experience, this technology, and I can go on and create for another 2 decades. Beautiful. I love them. I lose them all the time. I have to keep buying more. So, culture, the struggle against ageism, technology, somebody's going to invent something that's going to beat this. And then they're going to buy an island in the Caribbean. Lastly, person, your story. If you are not living a story right now, I urge you to start. Live your damn story. When you hang out with really old people who are really close to death, that's what they tell you. The only thing they ever regret is when they wandered off the path of their true self. They don't regret failure. They don't regret loss. They regret the moments they were not true to themselves. Culture, technology, person. My final thing, and then I will go. I started my career as a physician, and it was pretty fun. And actually, I'm a good doctor. But my story took me in a different direction, and I started to write some books. I started to become really concerned about ageism and the impact on people of all ages. And so I left my medical practice and became a wandering minstrel. That's what I do now. I tour the country performing nonfiction theater, 80 cities so far, nonfiction theater with an ensemble cast where we directly challenge the dominant cultural narrative of age and aging. And we substitute a new story, one of growth and development across that entire bridge. We believe that you live and grow and love and grieve and celebrate every day of your life. Not just when you're young, not just when you're old. If fortune favors me and I have the opportunity and the health and the strength, I expect that I will stay on the road, crisscrossing America, Europe, Australia, for the next 20 years. That's my story. What's yours?